guys, how's it going? I'm Sydney from PhoneDoc.com, and I'm here with the LG Optimus M and the Samsung Galaxy Prevail. Now both of these phones are available from prepaid carriers, the Optimus M from Metro PCS and the Galaxy Prevail from Boost Mobile. They're both mid-range Android smartphones. They ship with Android 2.2, but which one is better? We're going to put them head to head, compare both of them, and see which one comes out the winner. The Optimus M, like I said, is from Metro PCS. It's $229. The Galaxy Prevail is from Boost Mobile and it's $179. So there's a price difference there, but is it worth it to pay more for the Optimus M? Well, we'll find out in this dogfight. I'm Sydney from PhoneDoc.com. Let's go check it out. Okay, so here we have the Optimus M on the left and the Galaxy Prevail on the right. And, honestly, in terms of the Optimus phone, you could really add any Optimus phone, whether it's the Optimus V from Virgin Mobile or the T from T-Mobile, since they're really pretty much the same device. So even though I'm using the Metro PCS version, this dogfight really applies to just any Optimus phone from any one of the major carriers. So the only way that those phones are really different is the hardware, which I'm going to talk about first. The design is a little bit different. So in this case, it's just going to be Optimus M versus Prevail. So in terms of hardware, pretty much the same size, same thickness. The Prevail is about 0.47 inches thick. The Optimus M is about 0.62. So the Optimus is a little bit thicker, but they're still very sleek. You can see the design. I really like the design on both of these phones because, it's one of the things that really stood out to me when I first saw them, because a lot of times on mid-range phones, we don't really expect very much because they are cheaper and you figure they don't put as much thought into the design. But with the Optimus, this, it's a plastic body, but it has kind of this metallic shine to it, and it's sort of a beige or kind of like a light gold or silver color, and so it looks really nice. And on the front you have the buttons with kind of the same color, just a little bit more metallic finish to them. You can see it kind of stands out. Same thing with the Prevail, also looks very nice with these metallic edges, the trim, and then it comes to a tip here on the corners and just meets, and then kind of slightly tapers off, and then this is a kind of a rubbery matte finish. So overall, the hardware design on both of these, they both look great. I don't think they look like cheap mid-range phones, which is one of the things that I really appreciated about both of them. So both of them in terms of design look really good. Display size is the same, 3.2 inches, 3.2 inches, the same pixel density, 320 by 480 for the resolution. So neither one is really going to blow you away in terms of colors and clarity, but they look decent. Now obviously once you get close, you're going to notice that the text is pixelated, and actually you don't even have to be that close to notice it, but the text is pixelated on both of them. Pictures are kind of a little rough whenever you're web browsing or looking through your gallery. So the resolution is equal, but at the same time it is still clear and bright. Even though it's a low resolution, I've seen worse on phones, and so not really any competition there, but just to point out that they do have the same resolution, but they still look pretty good. Now as you can see, of course obviously they're both Android phones, but as you can see, the Optimus uses LG's custom UI, whereas the Prevail doesn't use Samsung's UI TouchWiz. And again, if you're going to interchange the Optimus M with any of the other Optimus phones, I believe the Optimus S on Sprint does not use a custom UI, so this part would not apply. But anyway, Optimus M versus Prevail. It does have LG's custom UI, so you have the dock at the bottom. When you go to the app drawer, it's kind of divided into sections. You have applications, which are the apps that came with the phone, and then you have another section for downloads, which is obviously the apps that you've downloaded. Now, you can edit this. You can create different sections. You can just have one section and then move all of the apps to this one section, so it's not divided. A little annoying, because I don't really think it's necessary to have this division. If it were kind of with tabs like HTC's done with their new Sense UI, then it wouldn't be such a hassle, but just the fact that I have to scroll all the way down to my downloads. But Anyway, not a huge deal, just something that kind of bothered me. The stock at the bottom, you can customize it, so you can see I've added seismic. Obviously that wasn't part of the original options, but you can customize all 4 of these. And then other than that, LG's custom UI is not very heavy, which, if you don't like custom UIs, then, LG's, at least the one on these Optimus One phones, is great because it's not very heavy. And really that was about it, the dock, the app drawer, and then you had these toggle buttons, but those, a lot of people download widgets for that anyway, and so it's kind of nice to have it in the notification bar. But if you really don't like any custom UIs, then the Prevail is perfect because it's just stock Android. Both of them ship with Android 2.2, which is really nice. We don't know if either one is going to get 2.3 or when. I'm assuming that just because they're kind of, mid-range devices, both on prepaid carriers, that they probably won't. But again, we don't know. So, again, if you don't like custom UIs, the Prevail is perfect. It's stock Android, so there's really no customizations here. You have the 2.2 Froyo dock, and then the app drawer is just the app drawer. It's not divided like it is on the Optimus M. And then when you go to the notification bar, it's just blank. There's not those toggle widgets. And, really, there's not much to talk about because, like I said, there's no customizations. The Optimus M comes with a few custom widgets because it does have that custom UI. So you can see the memo pad widget. It also comes with a few custom wallpapers, of course. These are widgets that I've downloaded. But then a dual clock calendar, of course, Google search, bookmarks, and then I think that's about it. Latitude, there's the memo pad messaging, that's a custom widget. My status. So, just a few more custom widgets because it is a custom UI. Social feeds, that's also, and then the clock and weather widget, which is actually pretty popular. This comes with the phone, and a lot of people usually download a widget like this, and so it's nice that it just comes with the phone, and so you have a nice little clock weather widget there, and it shows the weather. Whereas the Prevail, it doesn't really come with any custom widgets because it's stock Android. There's nothing that really comes with it. You still have latitude, but everything else is Android. Music, news and weather, picture frame, those are all just basic Android widgets. And then it does come with the Twidroid widgets. I did not download those. So if you like custom UIs, the Optimus M is perfect. If you don't, the Prevail. If you don't want to switch to Boost Mobile and you're on Metro PCS, the UI is not that heavy, so don't let that bother you. But I mean, obviously you have the option of stock with the Prevail. Now, both of these are mid-range devices, so their processor is in that kind of middle ground. The Prevail has an 800 megahertz processor. The Optimus M has a 600 megahertz processor. I'm going to say that I was more impressed by the 600 megahertz processor on the Optimus M than the Prevail's 800 megahertz processor. And I've had this problem before with Samsung devices. Their mid-range processors just aren't very impressive to me. I had the same problem with the Samsung Transform. The Samsung Intercept had the same problem. It was slow and laggy. And so the Prevail, it's the same thing. 800, it seems like it would be pretty decent, but I dealt with, a lot of lag. It wasn't too bad. As you can see, just doing basic things and going to the app drawer, it's not too bad. But once you start running a couple of programs, sometimes it would lock up, it would freeze. I couldn't even power it down. The power button wouldn't respond. I had to take out the battery. So I had, more problems with lag. Just in everyday usage. It was on a consistent basis. It wasn't terrible. The Samsung Transform was terrible. The Intercept was bad. This wasn't terrible, but I definitely noticed it, whereas on the Optimus M, I didn't notice it at all. And this is true of all of the Optimus devices I've tested, the one on Virgin Mobile. This processor is just really well designed, even though it has a custom UI. which tends to slow down devices. I didn't have that problem. It's very smooth. I never had any lag. I never had to deal with having multiple apps running, and so the device kind of slowed down or locked up. I don't know why that's not going away. Well, anyway, you can see I have a task manager downloaded because, there are occasions when every device you're going to have to clean up some of the running programs. But really, in all, I've been very impressed by the way that these devices perform because they are mid-range devices. Their processor, 600 megahertz, does not seem that impressive. But still, they've been very consistent with the speed and the performance. I can't say the same thing about the Prevail. I was pretty disappointed, and I was expecting more since it's stock Android. That usually helps